The finals of the Men and Women African Cup of Nations. It's always frenetic. On days such as this, there are no tribes, no religion. Here, Nigerian warriors are out to represent, to show the skills that makes us the best. On days like this, the color is one. The color is green. When we get the job done, it is because we have stuck together. When we celebrate, we stand together. Nigerians, united in victory. We are Nigerians. We are one.
We are grateful to Mr. President for bringing peace and stability to Nigeria.
President Buhari continues with strategic consultations to move the change agenda to higher level.
We look forward to seeing the blossoming of agro-industry as close to the source of raw material as possible.
Government moves to eradicate poverty among farming communities in rural areas. Plus, new executive appointments made into some government agencies and parastatals. A very good evening and thanks for joining us on the NTA Network News for tonight. I am Fumi Wakama. President Muhammadu Buhari this Friday granted audience to the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Hamid Ali, in furtherance of his strategic consultations with a broad spectrum of public officials towards enhancing the change agenda enterprise. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Discussions between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Customs Controller General Hamid Ali, held behind closed doors NTA Newsland, centered on the operational mandate of the service as regards revenue collection, curtailing smuggling activities, as well as enhancing national security. The President also received the Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Muhammad Abdullahi Mukhtar, where preparations for this year's Hajj took center stage. Meanwhile, Governor Yahya Bello of Kogi State, who was also in the State House, solicited for continuous prayers, support and cooperation for President Muhammadu Buhari, whom he formally commended for the choice of Stephen Ocheni as ministerial nominee for Kogi State.
Professor Stephen Ikani Ocheni is a renowned professor. He's versatile. He is workaholic. He is never tired. And I am very sure he's going to make Mr. President proud. He's going to make Nigeria proud. He's going to make the good people of Kogi State proud. And we thank Mr. President for this wonderful nomination. And we're happy that he's getting stronger and stronger by the day. I only urge all Nigerians to continue to pray and to give him all the necessary support. Nigeria is going to be better.
For Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, the forthcoming economic summit in the state is a response to the restoration of peace enterprise across Nigeria by the Buhari administration.
We are grateful to Mr. President for bringing peace and stability to Nigeria. So having attained a high degree of stability now, we think it is imperative to open our doors so that we can move our state forward.
The two governors had earlier joined President Muhammadu Buhari to observe the congregational Jumat prayers at the State House Mosque. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In fulfillment of the implementation of Education Empowerment Program of the federal government, about 12,000 pupils from 31 primary schools in Michika, Gombe and Mehai local government areas are to benefit from the Victim Support Fund in Adamawa State. Executive Director Sunday Ochocha stated this while distributing school materials to 477 pupils in Garkida Primary School to kickstart the 2016-2017 exercise of the fund. Simon Asher completes the report.
Although peace and normalcy have since returned in most areas bedeviled by Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, more needs to be done to salvage the deplorable condition the people find themselves in the aftermath of the insurgency. Conscious of this, the Victim Support Fund initiative of the federal government, in collaboration with the Community Reach Initiative of Adamawa State, has kickstarted the distribution of school materials to primary school pupils affected by insurgency. Sunday Ochoche, Executive Director of Victim Support Fund, says the gesture is a manifestation of the concern by the federal government to help facilitate learning and access to education for school-age children affected by insurgency.
We are reaching a total of 12,000 children. Our determination is that encourage schooling.
Governor Muhammad Jibril, represented by the Commissioner of Education, Kalitapua George Faraucha, while declaring the 2016-2017 Victim Support Fund open, says the flagging off of the Victim Support Fund is not only timely but necessary given the high number of children who are out of school due to the effect of the Boko Haram insurgency.
Our hands will also be on deck to ensure that we all make maximum benefits of what we are doing.
Items distributed are school bags, textbooks, exercise books, and chalks, among others. In Yola, Simon Nasha, NTA News.
The federal government has resolved to come up with a unified approach to change the narrative of militancy and find lasting solution to the lingering crisis and degradation of the environment in the Niger Delta region. An interministerial technical group meeting on the region says a blueprint to that effect will be made public. Lydia Sampson has details.
Following several meetings with various stakeholders in the Niger Delta with Vice President Yemi Oshibaju, elders from the region, under the auspices of PAN, Niger Delta Forum PANDEV, gave a 16-point agenda to strengthen ongoing negotiations and restore peace to the region. The meeting gave birth to this interministerial technical committee. The question is, what is different about the recent engagements? What made the people skeptical of past dialogues? What is the guarantee that it will produce tangible results this time?
This plan will be inclusive of peace, security, stability, and development.
We are working it out jointly with PANDEV. That way it is regionally owned, it is collectively owned. We're also working it out in response with some of the feedbacks that we are giving to the Vice President during his tour.
Coming up with a unified approach via a workable master plan, they say, will not only fast-track development, but also stop replication of projects, as well as provide a framework to hold agencies accountable. Participants are optimistic that this will not only help end militancy, but also restore hope to the people of the region. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government says advancement of indigenous participation in the oil and gas industry remains top priority in its drive to unlock opportunities for Nigerian companies. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, stated this at the maiden edition of the Nigeria Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair, organized by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Edidong Ibal has details.
The Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair is put together as a platform for stakeholders to obtain direct strategic information on upcoming activities across the upstream, midstream and downstream sectors in order to deepen strategic planning and delivery while building capacity for indigenous companies. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Ibe Kachuku called for the full implementation of the local contents law, urging Nigerians to take advantage of the opportunities in the oil and gas sector.
And today's theme, which is advancing indigenous participation in the Nigerian oil and gas industry for national development, is very apt.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Odum Emmanuel used the event to solicit for the relocation of head offices of international oil companies to their areas of exploration.
A time is here for them to help us transfer technology. Opportunity for us to actually train our people. Opportunity for us to actually build capacity.
The Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simbi Wabote, said the fair became necessary to integrate all regulatory agencies to ensure efficiency and enhance delivery of oil and gas products.
We also want to serve as a catalyst for sustainable Nigerian content development and implementation. Hence, the setting up of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair.
Goodwill messages were presented by the Senate Committee Chairman on Gas, Senator Bassi Alberts, and his House of Representatives counterpart on local content, Emmanuel Ekon, among others. In Uyo, Edith Yongiba, NTA News.
And away from the energy sector, the Interministerial Committee on Food Safety has adopted the National Policy on Food Safety and Implementation Strategy towards addressing the challenges of food illness arising from unsafe food and rejection of Nigeria's farm produce by the international community. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju reports that the document will be passed to the Federal Executive Council for due consideration and endorsement.
Food safety, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization and World Health Organization, is simply the description of handling, packaging, preparing and storage of food in a way that prevents foodborne illnesses. Nigeria's food safety practices is, however, said to fall below recommended global standard, leading to low international patronage and avoidable food-related casualties. It is in view of this that the National Policy on Food Safety and Implementation Strategy is developed to enhance more than an effective national food safety system.
That 1 in 10 persons fall ill due to foodborne organisms. In the African region, it is estimated that more than 91 million people fall ill and over 100,000 die yearly from foodborne diseases.
We must ask questions about the health standards of what we eat and the effect on our lives and the effect on our economy and the effect on the rest of the world.
With this adoption, Nigeria is believed to be on the path to integrated food safety system.
A Nigerian product would be certified here in Nigeria and would be accepted globally.
The Interministerial Committee include Ministries of Health, Agriculture, Science and Technology, Environment, Trade and Investment, and being assisted by UNIDO and other foreign partners to ensure that Nigeria eats safe food for their well-being and also export for economic development. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
And still on food sufficiency, the federal government is to launch family support program aimed at eradicating poverty, hunger and malnutrition among farming communities in rural areas. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Agbe, says the program is one of the key components of the national food policy of the federal government, known as Green Alternative. Musa Baba Aliu has that report.
Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises LIFE is at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, designed to identify challenges affecting smallholder farmers and at the same time upscale their production. The intervention is meant to cover all the states of the Federation with the objective of promoting community-based on-farm and off-farm business activities as a model for job and wealth creation among youth and women in the rural communities. A draft document of the program and its focus was presented to the Minister of Agriculture by officials of the International Funds for Agricultural Development IFAD from Rome.
We look forward to seeing the blossoming of agro-industry as close to the source of raw materials as possible to reduce spoilages and post-harvest damages, to add immediate value, keep the communities busy.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Agriculture is to work with all relevant research institutions on production of crops fortified with vitamins as part of measures towards eradicating malnutrition in the country.
And as a ministry, we have the directive, from the president to collaborate with all well-meaning agencies, with all well-meaning, NGOs, to see how we can improve nutrition.
The ministry is therefore promoting production of cassava, potatoes, and guinea corn fortified with vitamins. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And away from agriculture, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved new appointments into the executive management of some government agencies and parastatals. A statement by presidential spokesman Femi Adesina gives the new appointments as follows. The new chairman of the board of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, is former newspaper editor and ex-presidential spokesman Chief Duro Onobule. Other executive directors of the NTA include Dr. Steve Egbo, Administration and Training, Abdulhamid Salihu Dembos, Marketing, Mohammed Labo, News, Fatima Mbada, Finance, Stephen Okonachi, Engineering, and Wale Koka, Programs. At the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, Aliyu Hayatu is the new chairman, while Buhari Alwalu and Yinka Amoso are zonal directors, Kaduna and Lagos respectively. Under the Ministry of Information and Culture, the following agencies have new appointees: Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chika Madueke, General Manager, National Theatre and National Troupe of Nigeria. Comrade Uko is the Artistic Director. National Council for Arts and Culture has Otumba Olusegun Rushewe as Director General. National Film and Video Censors Board has Folorin Shokoka as the Director General. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed Vice President Yemi Osinbajo as Chairman, Board of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, while the new Director General is Engineer Mustafa Yunusa Mehaja. Other members of the NEMA board are the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Engineer Babachir David Lowell, Captain Talba Alkali, representing Ministry of Transportation and Aviation, Ambassador Rabiu Dagari, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Ngozi Azodo, Ministry of Health, Alhaji Mohamedou Machido, Ministry of Interior, Engineer Ajishegiri Benson Akinloye, Ministry of Water Resources, AVM Emmanuel Anebi, Nigerian Armed Forces, and AIG Salisu Fage Abdullahi represents the Nigeria Police Force. Nigeria has continued to push for water use regulations, with another meeting in Abuja tagged National Dialogue on Water Use and License Regulations 2016. The import of this, the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, says is key to achieving water governance in the country. Victor Hazu has details.
The water sector roadmap recently developed is gradually being implemented as the country strives to overcome constraints in terms of water availability, quantity and quality. The security of the water sector, its regulations and controls led to the approval of the Nigeria Integrated Water Resources Management Commission, whose mandate includes economic efficiency, social equity and sustainability of water usage in the country. To this end, stakeholders in the sector are at this meeting to create awareness on effective water management in Nigeria, as well as to strengthen strategic cooperation among agencies. Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, represented by Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water Resources, Rabi Jimeta, says the framework for coordinating water governance in the country is open to more contributions that will help the sector to thrive.
This is to ensure that a common language of understanding exists between the regulators and the key stakeholders. Due consideration is given to the various potentially conflicting areas and other overlapping regulations associated with water governance in Nigeria.
We want to safeguard the resource, that is water, to solve the problem of development, which will bring sanity in the sector and reduce conflicts to the barest minimum.
The general consensus at the meeting is that national water resources will henceforth be optimally utilized.
And moving on now, we turn to the judiciary. The Federal High Court sitting in Uyo has struck out a motion for stay of execution in its earlier judgment, which ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to withdraw the certificate of return it issued to Senator Bassi Albert. Clement Berkui brings us an update.
The Federal High Court in February 2017 faulted the substitution of Mr. Bassi Etim with Bassi Albert during the PDP primaries of December 2015. It subsequently ordered that Bassi Etim be issued with certificate of return by INEC as the senator for Akwa Ibom North East Senatorial District, and ordered that the first defendant had gone to the same court seeking for a stay of execution. The presiding judge, Justice Fatun Riman, ruled that judicial procedure is sacred, and since the matter is already before the Court of Appeal, he has no jurisdiction to entertain the case, and awarded the sum of 50,000 naira against the applicants.
It is only the Court of Appeal that can now consider any application whatsoever as from the 10th of March 2017.
Luckily, we had filed a similar motion. In fact, the motion at the Court of Appeal is for a mandatory injunction.
The duty of the party in this circumstance to come forward to let the courts and in fact the world know. Incidentally, the world knows who the candidates of the party in that.
Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Illegally Displaced Persons has condemned the forceful return of Nigerian refugees from Cameroon, which it says is against international laws. The Federal Commissioner, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, in a statement said it is unfortunate that Cameroon has continued forceful return of Nigerian refugees even after signing the tripartite agreement with Nigeria and the United Nations, which seeks to ensure the safety, proper handling, as well as voluntary return of Nigerian refugees who are in that country following the Boko Haram crisis. She stated that the parties agreed to provide people wishing to return with clear information on the situation prevailing in their areas of return in order to make well-informed and voluntary decisions. She urges Cameroon to respect and observe the international protection principles. While restating the commitment of the National Commission for Refugees concerned, the Federal Commissioner also expresses readiness to facilitate their return in safety and dignity. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You're still watching NTA Network News, and we're reaching you live from our studios in Abuja. National Broadcasting Commission extends timeline for data broadcast stations. We shall bring you details after this short break. Do stay tuned.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
There are over 10,000 drugs in this place, but none can be prescribed for success. If you want your business to stay healthy, then you need balance. All you need is one phone with a good plan, and that's why I use Glo SME Flexi. It helps me run all my stores from anywhere, like I'm there. I'm constantly in contact with my clients, my customers, my workers, my suppliers, and at the cheapest rates.
New Glo SME Flexi lets your business operate efficiently for less. Get 1 hour talk time or more than 650 megabytes data, or any combination of both for just 500 naira. Plus, reduce costs with special staff rates, a choice of unmatched data plans, and best international call rates. Call 200 now or visit your nearest Glo World.
Is my order ready to ship?
Yeah, it's already on its way.
Glo Business. Together, we make business happen.
No mind the boy. I register am for computer school so that he go sabi use computer to write UTME exam.
the boy can't play football.
Not hear your pikin here for nothing. To write UTME exam now, na selenkejo.
You don't need to sabi plenty computer. Just sabi damn special 8 keys way dey on top computer. A, B, C, D for to take answer question. P for preview or back. N for next or forward. Double click S for submit. And arrow for return or reverse. And send or form. Not be 6 months again, no. Now only 1 month. From March 20 to April 19. No more scratch card, though. Buy your pin at approved banks and waka go any approved JAM CBT center for registration. Meanwhile, optional mock exam day for April 8. And the main exam will start from May 6, 2017.
You sabi any special Wuruguru center where I fit put my pikin so that even if he fail, he could pass?
Yeah. Look, you better tell your pikin now to read well, because no wuru plus mago for jump again, no. If you don't read well, you go fail.
This message is by Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, enhancing academic excellence.
Hello? Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge. Gioni M6, always in power.
From the south-south to the northeast, southeast to the northwest, southwest to the north-central, the Future Assured project and its component, Get Involved, is restoring hope to millions of Nigerian women and children.
We are actually doing a lot under Future Assured, the program of Her Excellency Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. And I believe what we are doing so far is impacting positively on the lives of women and children in Nigeria, particularly those in the internally displaced camps across the nation.
Get Involved supports the Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
You're still watching NTA Network News, and we're reaching you live from our studios in Abuja. We begin this segment with the media industry. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has extended the timeline for data broadcast stations in the country for another 3 months. The Director General of the Commission, Ishak Modibokau, said this while addressing newsmen in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday has that report.
Had made it clear that all stations were expected to settle their outstanding debt to the NBC by the end of March 31st, 2017. Otherwise, they stood a risk of being closed down.
The extension, Ishak Modibokau said, was as a result of the intervention of the leadership of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria, BON.
All stations are given an extended period of 3 months till June 30, 2017, to conclude discussions with the NBC on their payment plans, including a firm commitment to pay these monies within the 3 months by June 30th, 2017.
The Director General also urged BON to assist the broadcast outfits recover their own debts.
And the related bodies like APCON to assist in ensuring that monies owed licensees are fully paid and in time, especially advertising monies.
National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, is saddled with the responsibility of regulating the activities of the broadcast industry in Nigeria. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the role of the media in development of language and humanity took center stage as broadcasters and administrators gathered to celebrate the 60th anniversary of BBC Hausa service. Suleiman Ibrahim Hamid reports that they also revealed the role of the media in entrenching democracy and good governance.
For 60 years, Hausa speakers in some countries of West Africa and other parts of the world
have been beholding this signature tune, heralding news and programs of BBC Hausa service every morning. Speakers at the public lecture extolled the revolutionary contributions of the station in shaping opinions among the grassroots people of Nigeria and setting agenda for the political class. The Speaker, House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, and the Governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, spoke on how the BBC Hausa service has become an integral part of the lives of the Hausa speakers.
The depth of the Hausa language has been cultivated by far by the BBC Hausa service than any other modern platform that we have.
The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Paul Albright, and the Director General NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, represented by the Director of News, Aliu Bababarao, were full of praises for the role of the BBC Hausa service in the life of the Nigerian nation.
Indeed, it provides a lifeline for poor rural communities that are not reached by other media.
And BBC, by its tradition, has helped to create public awareness in Nigeria, especially at the grassroots level.
Papers on the role of media in the development of language were presented by Professor Abdullahi Uba Ado of the Department of Mass Communication, National Open University, and Professor Umar Pate, Dean, Faculty of Communication, Bayero University, Kano. In Abuja, Suleiman Ibrahim Ahmed, NTA.
Muslims have been admonished to complement government efforts by reaching out to the less privileged in the society. This formed the central message of the Jumat sermon delivered by Imam Muhammad Rabin Suleiman at the Shehu Shagari Area 1 Mosque in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
Peace is a recipe for socio-economic development of the society. The cleric said Islam provides such recipe as it is a religion of peace. Muhammad Rabiu enjoined Muslims to take advantage of Allah's blessing by engaging in acts of worship prescribed by Islam. He explained that helping the needy, such as internally displaced persons in the society, is a deed Muslims should embrace and cherish.
And wherever you are, you should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do the right things. Follow the teaching of Islam.
Some worshippers who attended the Jumat prayer pledged to imbibe the lessons learned from the psalm.
Teach us how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam teach the Muslim Ummah and guide them through the pillars of Islam.
Prayers were offered for peace and tranquility of the country. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The Industrial Training Fund has recognized its staff and stakeholders who have contributed in aiding the fund achieve its mandate of human capital development in the year 2016. Cameroon Ekan Ladoja was at the 2016 end-of-year Merit Award ceremony, which held at the ITF headquarters.
General of the fund, Sir Joseph Ari, said the Merit Award ceremony is not just about the awards, but an evaluation of how well the ITF has fared in the past year, with the intention of making projections for the next year.
They say that there is no way the economic recovery and growth plan can be achieved without skills, and the ITF is a veritable vehicle in the attainment of that goal. And already all hands of the ITF workforce are on deck.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who was represented by the Director, Administration and Human Resources in the Ministry, Dauda Mohammed, while applauding the ITF for carrying out a self-check, said ITF plays a very important role in Nigeria's development.
While you do the assessment objectively, you should be mindful of the fact that your best is what is your bad, and that at the end of the exercise, you all must use the result to chart a new course.
Plateau State Governor, represented by the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Ezekiel Baju, said human capital development is key for development and encouraged the ITF staff to put in their best to achieve the set objectives.
We want you all the staff, you should engage in healthy competition so that you can move ITF, and when ITF leads, Nigeria will definitely come to a stop. And we want Nigeria to come to a stop. And exactly when ITF moves, Nigeria will definitely move.
The event climaxed with the awards presentation ceremony, which saw Sokoto Area Office as the best area office in all categories. Center for Excellence just won the overall best training center amongst others. For long service award staff, Tiri Pam was awarded for 15 years of service, Fausat Mohammed 25 years, Idris Sada Buhari for 30 years in service. John Toma, Nna Fabulous, all of the headquarters were awarded for early reporting at work. There were goodwill messages from the Director Generals of NECA, MAN, and representatives of the Bongwon Jos, the Vice Chancellor of Plateau State University Bokos, and the President Nasima. In Jos, Ekemaran Kaneng Ladoja, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News, and it's time to join Vera Chiumba in Lagos for more stories and business news. A very good evening to you, Vera.
Thank you, Fumi. Good to see you, and a very warm welcome to Lagos. Equity, justice, patriotism, and selflessness have been identified as veritable tools for the successful restructuring of Nigeria's political terrain towards economic development. This was a submission of erudite scholars at the 37th Center for Values in Leadership Colloquium for Leaders Without Titles in Lagos. Becky Madujemo reports that the lecture was in honor of two leaders of thought, Professor Ben Wabweze and Chief Richard Akinjide.
The restructuring of Nigeria's political landscape for rapid economic growth can be achieved if leaders place national interests above self. Speakers at this forum further advocate true federalism, with the center conceding more responsibilities, rights and privileges to regions and states.
The measures you can put in place, number one is believe and have one definition for federalism.
To live peaceably together, we must agree on the terms of living together.
Host Professor Pat Utomi decried injustices, marginalization, and inequitable distribution of the nation's resources as major challenges confronting Nigeria's economic stability. He speaks on the way forward.
Nigeria is in a position to reap a huge demographic dividend, or in doing nothing, in continuing the way we are, to have anarchy. If we want to do the needful, we should then sit down and talk and look at the kind of structure for the federation that will spur economic activity, that will lead to growth, and they will lead to development.
Issues bordering on the effectiveness of the rule of law, youth engagement in politics, and compulsory education for youths were tackled by resource persons. A softer side to the lecture saw the celebrants cutting their birthday cake with presentation of awards to the octogenarians, Professor Ben Wabweze and Chief Richards Akinjide. In Lagos, Becky Madujemu, NTA News.
Over 15 million Nigerians are said to be residing outside the country, where they have migrated to in search of greener pastures. They are, however, contributing to the development of their host nations. How these diaspora exploits could be harnessed for a meaningful socio-economic development of the country was the thrust of a lecture delivered by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Matters at Dabiri Erewa in Lagos. Jane Ejeku reports.
Many Nigerians in the diaspora are making positive impact in their chosen fields of endeavor, thereby assisting in rewriting the story of Nigeria to the outside world. According to statistics, over $35 billion was remitted to Nigeria in 2016 by Nigerians living abroad. This brings to the fore the huge potential that exists among the diasporans, which could be properly harnessed through the right synergies. Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa disclosed that plans are rife towards instituting a diaspora commission that will be better equipped to handle the affairs of Nigerians in the diaspora.
The bill is with the National Assembly. It's been passed by the House of Representatives. It's now on the floor of the Senate. So hopefully the Senate will concur with the House and pass the Diaspora Commission bill.
If approved, the commission is expected to handle the numerous challenges of Nigerians living abroad.
They talk about when we come back home, they don't integrate, there are bureaucratic bottlenecks, there are issues of doing businesses in Nigeria. You want to spend 2 weeks, whatever you came for, you cannot even process the document within 2 weeks. You need a one-stop agency You need a body to deal with diaspora matters. 25 countries have full-fledged ministries for the diaspora. Having a commission will be for the progress and development of Nigeria.
Chairman Island Club Oladipo Okpeshei, SAN, solicited that voting rights be granted Nigerians in the diaspora, considering their contribution to the national economy. The club later honored their August visitor with a plaque. In Lagos, Jane Ujuku, NTA News.
And moving on to business. As the world celebrates Global Money Week, Nigerian youths have been challenged to embrace savings and invest for the future. Amaechi Paris has details on our business news segment.
Children from some secondary schools in Lagos were at the Nigerian Stock Exchange today as part of activities marking this year's Global Money Week. The children had the opportunity of witnessing trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. They were exposed to ways to making money, create livelihood, gain employment, and become better entrepreneurs. The theme of this year's celebration is Learn, Earn, and Save. The initiative was created by the Child and Youth Finance International to help children become better equipped and better managers of their finances.
Most of these young ones are familiar with the banks and, the money market. They're familiar with that. But there's also the other aspect that they may not necessarily be familiar with. So it gives us an opportunity to expose them to the workings of the capital market, to the workings of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, to understanding what shares and equities and bonds and the different products that you can trade and use to generate revenue for yourself.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says it will, from Monday, the 3rd of April 2017, increase weekly sale of foreign exchange to bureau de change to $10,000. A statement from the Apex Bank signed by the bank's head of corporate communications, Isaac Okorafor, says it's a strategic move to ensure wider spread and liquidity in the market. The statement said banks have been directed to post the new rate of 360 naira to $1 on their electronic boards at all their branches, adding that examiners from the Apex Bank will visit the banks to ensure strict compliance to the directive. Here are details of trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today. 8.82 trillion naira was the market capitalization, while the O-share index finished at 25,516.134. WAPCO added 3 naira 99 kobo to its share price to close at 42 naira 99 kobo per share. It was closely followed by Better Glass, which appreciated by 2 naira 10 kobo. Nigerian Breweries was ahead on the gainers table. It fell by 4 naira, closing at 127 naira per share. GlaxoSmith PLC fell by 48 kobo to close at 14 naira per share. On the whole, investors purchased more than 593.86 million shares at 94.26 billion naira in 3,159 deals. And that's business news. Thanks for being a part of it.
You're still watching the NTA Network News. We take a break now to bring you some messages. The news returns shortly. Stay with us.
Universal Basic Education Board. Welcome, State and FCT Universal Basic Education Board Chairman, to the 18th quarterly meeting of UBEC Management with States and FCT Universal Basic Education Boards. The meeting is scheduled to hold as follows. Arrival, Sunday, 2nd April 2017. Meeting days, Monday 3rd to Tuesday 4th April. Venue, Dover Hotel, 14 Aromire Street, off Obafemi Awolowo Way by Island Roundabout, Ikeja, Lagos. Time, 10 a.m. daily. Departure, Wednesday, 5th April 2017. The meeting will be declared open by the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu. Education for all is the responsibility of all. Dr. Hamid Boboyi, Executive Secretary, UBEC, announcer.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Florex chewing gum neutralizes bad odor. It doesn't just disguise them, it gives you real minty breath.
It's finally here, the most anticipated sports show on live television, featuring great sports icons from ex-internationals to famed journalists and administrators. It doesn't come bigger than the Sports Parliament. Be a part of the biggest sports talk show on television to help chart a successful path for Nigerian sports. 11 p.m. to midnight on Thursday on the NTA. Sports Parliament, where the eggheads converge.
You're still watching NTA Network News, and we're reaching you live from our studios here in Abuja. Niger State government has signed a memorandum of understanding with 5 tax consultants as part of measures for achieving its monthly target of 1 billion naira in internally generated revenue. This is to reduce dependence on federal allocation. Dauda Muhammad has that report.
The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding with the 5 tax consultants with track records of achievements in revenue matters nationwide is expected to improve revenue collection in Niger State through the use of cutting-edge technologies, enumeration of taxable persons and organizations, as well as elimination of leakages in tax collection. Tax consultants engaged include Brainstorm IT Solutions, ByteWorks Technology Solutions, Cogent Works, 4Care Consultants, and Humber International.
We're here to collect revenue or to increase the collection of revenue, mostly in the informal sector. So the informal sector, the artisans and traders.
What we're going to do for the state is to reclaim, maybe going back 5 years, and then going forward, ensure that all taxes due to Niger are paid in Niger.
Niger State Commissioner for Finance, Ibrahim Balarabe, reiterated that the present administration is committed to the overhaul of the internally generated revenue mechanism in the state and the provision of viable database that will help improve the IGR of the state from about 450 million to 1 billion naira monthly.
A lot of revenues belonging to Niger State is being remitted to Abuja. Most of the people working in Abuja actually are residing in Suleja, and Suleja is Niger State. And in essence, their revenue should have come to Niger State rather than going to Abuja.
Speakers at the ceremony, including the Niger State Accountant General, Saidu Abdullahi, assured the consultants that government will play its role by ensuring compliance with the MOU and called for synergy between all the consultants. In Mina, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Ogun State government has allocated 1,050 open and lock-up shops to allottees at 5 ultra-modern shop complexes and markets across Abeokuta. Ogun State Governor Ibikule Amosun urged beneficiaries to ensure good maintenance of the structures. Lekon Agbode has that report.
On period of waiting patiently, traders at Laderi, Itoku, Chapon, Isalegbeyin and Omidu markets have reasons to be elated as government finally fulfilled the promise made to them. Most of them had sacrificed their shops to demolition as a result of the road expansion and reconstruction efforts of the state government. The state governor, Ibikule Amosun, had promised to rebuild the markets into world-class standard to uplift the economic activities of the people. The markets were indeed reconstructed, and the promise to give it back to them is being fulfilled. Hence, the people were happy. Governor Amosun told the people that those who lost their stores to the reconstruction initiative will be the first to get allocation, saying they will use it free for 6 months before they start paying.
We will spread the payment for you. The moment you finish payment, it is yours. Government doesn't have any intention to own the shop.
State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Olamilekun Adegbite, described the gesture as a tip of the iceberg. The beneficiaries appreciated the state government and promised to make proper use of the markets. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
With the degrading of Boko Haram, business activities have picked up in Borno State. These and more from our Maiduguri Network Center as we link up with Muhammad Ibrahim. Good evening, Muhammad.
Thank you, Fumi. Welcome to Maiduguri.
The hosting of Nigerian Army Small Arms Championship, NASAC 2017 in Sambisa Forest is a further testimony in the high level of success recorded in the fight against insurgency in the Northeast. President Muhammadu Buhari said this in a message at the closing ceremony of the NASAC 2017 in Sambisa Forest. Borno State Defense Correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
Do not mistake this thick smoke for a replica of the September 11 attack or this extract from a movie scene. It is a firepower demonstration at the finals of the 2017 Nigerian Army Small Arms Championship in Sambisa Forest. The week-long competition among the 9th Division of the Nigerian Army is aimed at sharpening the marksmanship of Army personnel and an enabling environment for training of troops.
The staging of the Nigerian Army Small Arms Competition in Sambisa Forest also reinforced the fact that normalcy has been restored in Borno State and indeed the Northeast in general.
While commending participants for the improvement in standards compared to the last championship 7 years ago in Jaji, Kaduna State, the Army Chief mandated the Delta Command to flush out the remnants of Boko Haram in few weeks.
Camp Zero has fallen and will never be allowed to be reoccupied by these Boko Haram terrorists.
7th Division Maiduguri, the host of the event, emerged winners of the 2017 Nigerian Army Small Arms Championship. In the past, the entire Sambisa Forest was a restricted area due to the intensity of the terrorist activities. The mere mention of Sambisa Forest in the past induced fear to the civilians and even to some military personnel.
I have to thank the Commander-in-Chief and the President of Nigeria, and I have to thank the gallant members of the armed forces for their gallantry in coming to this dreaded territory.
From Sambisa Forest, Borno State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
That's all for our contribution. Back to Abuja for the continuation of Network News.
And up ahead, global tidbits, sports news, and a look at Saturday's weather prospects. All of these when we come back.
Following the approval of the whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Minister of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
You're still watching the NTA Network News, and we begin this segment with global tidbits. Israel approves establishment of its first new Jewish settlement in the occupied West Bank, and European Union outlines strategy for Brexit negotiations. These and more as we join Ogechi.
South Africa's President Jacob Zuma has sacked his finance minister, Mr. Pravin Gordhan, in a major cabinet reshuffle after days of speculation that has locked the country's markets and currency, replacing him with Home Affairs head Malusi Gigaba. Israel has approved the establishment of its first new Jewish settlement in the occupied West Bank in 2 decades. The Palestinian officials have condemned the move and called